Back to another episode of the AAU Overtime Podcast. Jordan DeLuciano, as always, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, everyone, to those who celebrated over the weekend. And joining me now, we're supposed to have him on last Friday. We had to move it to this Wednesday. Owen Hughes, representing St. Bonaventure's Division I, the November Player of the Month. Owen, welcome back to the podcast, and congratulations on winning the award.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem, Owen. So last year you had a great season, had you on the podcast, I think around this time as well. You had a great regular season. This year, same story. What do you feel has translated from your games from last year to this year that has led to your success once again?
I'd say there's a few different things. Obviously, our success, like my teammates, like line mates, has helped a lot. It's keeping the same line mates the past 2 years, but individually, I'd say like just getting the puck to the net, passing as much as I can because I rely on my line mates a lot. But yeah, just it really helps keeping the same line from last year, and that helps me a ton because I trust them and rely on them a lot.
And you mentioned your line mates there. You said it's the same group as last year, and you get the puck to the net. They're banging on the rebounds. What are you looking for in your line mates, and what do they look for you?
I wouldn't say like one of us is a pure goal scorer. I mean, Mego does put the puck in the net a ton, but you can give the puck to either them or me in hopes of getting it back or putting in the net. So it's not really you could say you could trust each one of them with the puck. It's no different.
And anything for you personally from last year that you were thinking about improving on or working on coming into this year that you have found success in that wasn't there last season?
I would say at some points in time I was passing the puck a little too much rather than shooting the puck. Even in practice, I would be told that by Jordy, but it definitely helps shoot the puck more. Like I said, get the puck to the net, but yeah.
You would say Bonaventure, arguably the toughest conference right now in all of AAU, whether it be D1, 2, or 3, and that upstate conference in New York. The top 3 teams in D1 all represent that. So just take us through what it's like playing majority of your games against some of the best teams. And right now, it's you guys, Niagara and Binghamton, honing those top 3 spots. So what's it like playing in that ultra competitive conference upstate?
I mean, it's tough, but we enjoy it going to most of our games, and you got to play your best. Everyone's gonna give you their best, so I think it's fun. We enjoy it. The competition is great, so I would say we like it and we enjoy it. It's fun.
How do you feel like that stiff competition all season long prepares you guys going into nationals every year?
Yeah, it helps us. I mean, it obviously will help everyone else too. You just get used to playing tough, grinding games, and they're close. So you got to find ways to win, and that ultimately helps you later in the season. Just finding ways to win against good teams.
And this St. Bonaventure team, last 3 seasons, they've been very good. 3 years ago, winning their pool. Last year, you were with that group, number 1 seed. And once again, you're right there in the thick of things again. What have you seen? You've been here. Now it's your second season, right, Owen?
No, I'm a junior. This is my 3rd season.
Third. So you've been here the whole 3 years. I'm going to touch upon what have you seen has been the or is there one key factor why the Bonnies have been so strong these past 3 seasons?
I wouldn't say there's just one thing. I think it's just up and down coaching, like our system, just the talent we keep getting in year out. And it's definitely helped. Like we've grown together as a team, and everyone's super close as teammates, which obviously helps a ton. So I would say it's not one thing in general, or in specific. It's more of all these things falling together and just improving year by year as a program.
You mentioned him before, Coach Jordan. What is he bringing to the table in terms of his coach style? Anything you've picked up from him in your 3 years at St. Bonaventure?
He's really dedicated. He's grown the program a ton, so everyone really appreciates that. We all like him a lot. He's a really good coach. So, and obviously, like I said, he's grown the program a ton. So it's great to see.
And you guys this year, looking at the roster, you guys pretty good in terms of a returning class. Any new names that have been a factor in the lineup, freshmen or transfers?
Freshman Miles Brown. He's a defenseman. Really good. He's super smooth. I always say he plays like Darlene because I'm from Buffalo, so I think he's really good. He could shoot the puck, he could skate, he could score. So he's been a really big addition for us. He's a freshman.
Anything that has been talked about in the locker room or coming into this season that maybe just being hammered home after last year's great regular season, but then that unfortunate end in nationals?
I would say obviously just you got to come into every game prepared and ready to go. I mean, like last year we were ranked first undefeated, so everyone's giving you their best game. They want to be the ones that take them off, and I would say that's it was tough last year because going into the playoffs, it was like you haven't lost yet. Like I said, everyone wants to give you the first loss, so it's more of just take it one game at a time, and you got to play your best and give it your all every game.
Does the team, has it been mentioned, any pressure you guys feel coming in this year after, like you mentioned, number one team last year, undefeated? Is there any conversations being had about like, we got to do what we did last year? Any pressure on the shoulders?
No, I would say just like I said, take it one game at a time. That we don't really feel any pressure like from last season, just because whatever happens in the regular season. Like if like it would happen before the break, we dropped one, and I mean we needed it. Just like last year, went into the playoffs when we couldn't afford to lose it, but we did. But when we could have afforded to lose in the regular season last year, but we didn't. Like there's really no pressure we feel.
And that tough loss last year to Georgia in overtime. Just take me through that game. What did Georgia give you guys? What did you feel like that they impressed you? That impression of the Bulldogs after that game, and did that loss change any outlook coming into the season?
I mean, they're a good program. Obviously, they've been good for a couple years now. They played us well. They played a physical game, and they got up early on us. We couldn't bury, and then in the third, we ended up tying it, and it's just an overtime break. I think they had the tiebreaker on us, so we couldn't tie. So we were pushing to get the overtime winner. We just didn't get it. So, I mean, yeah, they're a good program. It was a great game. It was a fun game to be a part of, actually, as much as it was tough losing. But it's brought us to just – like I said, obviously, you just got to go into each game. You want to win it, but you got to take a period of time, shift at a time, just have that type of mindset.
And that last game, right? I believe it was your last game. That game against Tampa, tough loss. What didn't go Bonnie's way that game, and how do you expect the group to rebound come January, second half of the season?
Yeah, obviously, like I said, I mean, we got the loss out of the way. That obviously you don't go in any game wanting to lose, but you got the loss out of the way that didn't happen last year. We needed it. I feel Tampa is a great team. Obviously, they've been good for years, like I said about Georgia, but I feel we could have started better, obviously. Even though going into the second, it was a close game. I think we're getting outshot. We got outshot pretty bad all game, but we needed it. I mean, we're not panicking or anything. It's a good little reset over this month-ish break. So we needed it. I mean, nobody's really panicking or anything. They're a great team, but I feel they just had a bad game. And if we play them again, it'll be a good game.
Anyone down the line for the remainder of your regular season you look forward to locking up against? I'm saying you got pretty much, you got to go through the upstate again, your own conference. You got Binghamton, Cortland, and Niagara, just to name a few.
I mean, it's always fun playing Niagara. It's always a great game. I'm pretty sure every time I've played them, it's been a one-goal game. So that's obviously always fun. We look forward to playing them all the time. So that's a grind. Binghamton's a fun game too. Usually pretty high scoring. So,
any team that you've played so far that has surprised the group, maybe not just you specifically, maybe surprised the group, that gave you guys a little bit more of a challenge than you were expecting, an improvement from last season?
I'm trying to think.
Because I know a Cortland team popped onto Long Island and knocked off Farmingdale right before the break.
Yeah, I did see that. We haven't played them yet, but it is. You do see games like that. You're like, wow, like it's just becoming more and more competitive as a league as a whole, and it's good to see. So it's cool.
And now your goalie tandem down there, you guys got like a three-headed monster in net right now. Many different bodies in between the posts. Like, take me through that situation. All three guys, you can go to any three of them, because I recognize one name from last year, Carl Leski. Because he was the starter, I think, throughout nationals. I remember that name. So are those two other names new, or those two other names that are in there right now, Kirk and Fitzpatrick, are those guys freshmen, or are they just getting more of looks and didn't get ice time last year?
No, they're both freshmen, and it's pretty cool because any three that play, you can rely 100% on. I mean, they're all super sound in net, and we don't have to worry about it. I mean, last year was tough because in nationals we kind of rode Kyle a little more than we wanted to, and that's like the 6 game or the daily games in nationals. It's hard for goalies to do that, so that'll obviously be a huge help going into nationals later. But yeah, like I said, it's no worries putting any of them in. They're all really, really good goalies. They could be starters on a bunch of different teams. So,
and now, lastly, to you, are you home for the holidays? When do you go back up to Saint Bonaventure?
oh yeah, I'm home for now. We go back. Classes start the 16th, so it's right after our Martin Luther King Day. Probably go back the 15th. We got practice on the 15th, but the Bills might have a home playoff game, so hopefully they do get in. We can go to that.
I think the Bills aren't they in a wild card spot right now. The Bills.
They're in a wild card spot,
Yeah.
but need a few things to happen, and then they might grab the 2 seed. It'll be a long shot, but
Bills came out of nowhere. They were really doing nothing. They were kind of like treading 500. And once they fired their OC, things took off.
Yeah, and it was big. I was pumped. I mean, they were 6-6, and now they haven't lost since. I'm pretty sure they haven't lost since. So it's exciting.
What was the OC like? What was the issue? What? Because I'm not a Bills fan, but that was surprising. And like that game they lost, didn't they lose it? It wasn't like an offensive play they lost the game on. It was like a missed field goal or something. And then after the game, they fired him. So like, what was the problem they had with Dorsey?
I don't really know. I mean, I don't think they were letting Josh Allen be the real Josh Allen. You know what I mean? And now you kind of see him being let loose a little more. I think it happened after they played the Broncos and they had like 12 men on the field or something, and then they ended up getting to re-kick the game-winning field goal or something. The Bills lost.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's been great though. It's been super beneficial for them.
The Bills right now are like a team that like they're sneaky. Like right now, they may not be like lighting the world on fire like the Ravens might be, but like it's a team you don't want to play in the playoffs. Like you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've always been like better as underdogs. I mean, like last year they were 13-3, and everyone was just hyping them up, and they lost early. So I mean, better to go under the radar and go that way.
Yeah, the last 2 years they were like a 1, 2, or 3 seed. And,
right. Yeah. Exactly.
They were the powerhouse, and then they got off to a little bit.
Can't beat Kansas City.
Yeah. Josh Allen all year coming this year got like a bad rap. Everyone was saying like he's overrated. I never thought that. I thought he reminds me, because I'm a Steelers fan, he reminds me of Ben Roethlisberger. You know, he's a big bruiser back there. He can surprisingly move pretty well for being so big. You know, he might throw 2 picks, but he'll also throw you 4 touchdowns and 370 yards.
Yeah, people are complaining about his turnovers and stuff, but like if he has 40 touchdowns and like I think he's got like 40 touchdowns and 18 turnovers right now, like sure, there's 18 turnovers are a lot, but he still got 40 touchdowns. Like,
yeah, that was like watching Ben Roethlisberger. You know, early in his career is more conservative, but as he got on, he would have like 12, 13 picks, but he'd throw 38 touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly.
4,500 yards, you take that. And they finally have a running game too now, the Bills.
I know, it's awesome. We haven't had it in years. Like,
it was like Devin Singletary they had. It didn't work. Yeah, the Bills had not had a run game forever, but now James Cook. Let James cook.
Yep, let James cook.
And Diggs is kind of gone like a little quiet, right?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't really gotten the ball a ton the past few games, but he hasn't really said much about it because they're winning. I'm sure if they were losing, he wasn't getting the ball, there'd be problems, but they're winning, so.
He was making it. He was talking during the offseason, right? Wasn't it? There's
always some stuff about him, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's good to not hear it since they're winning, so.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, he's one of those receivers. You know, I had it with pretty much every Steeler receiver. It's happening right now with Pickens, with AB back in the day. You know, once things start going south, then all of a sudden they start. No coincidence there.
Yeah, exactly.
We got Gabe Davis. He's solid.
Yeah, he's all right.
You know, he's run the ball now.
Yeah.
Well, Owen Hughes from St. Bonaventure, the November Player of the Month, representing Division One. Thank you again for being on the podcast and being able to reschedule for this Wednesday, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem, Owen. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to everyone out there alongside Owen Hughes. Joining DeLuciano here for the AAU Overtime Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you